Do not, for any reason, ever share your private keys, passphrases, passwords, or click suspicious links. Everyone all the time is trying to steal your stuff, so go slow and be careful. There's no point making all this money just to give it to a thief.
Are you tired of all the uneducated noise you're getting from the droves of YOLO meme coin peddling douchebag gurus out there trying to use you as their exit liquidity? Would you rather learn a competent university-level set of skills that will guide you in managing and investing for the rest of your life? Join us 3 days a week at Digital Investor. Develop your knowledge of game theory, cognitive bias, macroeconomics, monetary theory, investment theory, psychology of the crowds, and more. For more info on Digital Investor and how it can help you, reach out at nickblacknext.com.
Look at us with a question. All right. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, good night. If you're at a bar, drink up. All right, let's see. So what are we playing in the background? What is this? Feeding the ducks? Oh, I don't know if that's the one. Maybe we'll go with this one. We'll go to info space. Yeah, it's a little bit better. Feeding the ducks a little bit creepy. All right. So we'll go through some questions. Then we're going to talk commercial real estate and what that unwind is going to mean. I don't think a lot of people realize that if commercial real estate unwinds, when commercial real estate unwinds, I don't know if people realize how many other markets are going to be affected, but it's a lot. So we're going to talk about that. That'll be our brainiac part. You say, well, that's not crypto. Oh, my friends, it touches a lot of markets, and that could obviously affect the digital asset space where people that have a high tolerance for pain and misery are investing. So yes, it all matters. Okay. Audrey's question is, for those hypercycle tokens on BSC that I do not want to marry to nodes, will there be a way of converting, bridging them to Ethereum network? Yes, there will eventually. Like you were, let's say you just had them on Binance chain and you just wanted to sell them. I mean, right now, the price is only a little different. It depends. If you have a lot of tokens, it's not going to be so easy. If you have, 500 or 1,000 tokens, you could do that right now on PancakeSwap quite easily. But if you had 50,000 or 100,000 tokens, I don't think the liquidity is there for something like that. So I wouldn't mess with that. Just saying. Let's see. It's not playing on DI. Well, I don't know what to tell you, buddy. It's playing right here. You're good to go. This is a freebie show anyway. So it's not, this one, we're not going behind the wall. This is just, everybody can participate. And because of that, there's 53 of you here. So, there should be 53 likes. Do you guys remember what we used to do? I used to enforce this. If during the show, whatever the number was, like the average number of people during the show, if we didn't have that many likes, I just immediately erased the video. I was like, okay, cool. Everybody that's here live, they got it. Anybody that isn't, see you later, bye. But then again, that's a greater good type thing, because if you were here and you saw the show live and you got something out of it, you might want to put that in your back pocket, screw everyone else. So you might not want to put a like so that I nuke the video. But that's dickish, isn't it? Isn't it? First rule of Fight Club, don't be a dick. All right. Hello. Good morning. And I'll answer your questions. Well, first few minutes, we're going to just spend doing, like, the whole idea of office hours is that we answer questions for you guys. The pools are paying more. Yeah, B&B pools are paying more, and it's easier to to restake your assets. It's only like 6 cents is the aggregate transaction on Binance Chain. Ethereum has a lot of work to do, man, but everybody uses it. So it's like, dang. Let's see. We talked about yesterday. I had some questions about Money Morning Live and all that. They are basically no more. It is what it is. They're shuttering it. Dude, man, if you get an email from Money Morning Live at this point from me telling you anything, it's bullshit. I don't work for them. Brandon and I left, not on bad terms, but they don't even work for themselves. They're bankrupt or whatever, man. So don't sign up for anything that they offer you because they don't exist. They may become something else. They don't exist right now. Get your money back. All right. The show is not available on the Digital Investor website. Can you fix? I can't fix right now, Beth. It should be playing though. That's a Brandon thing. Brandon's the tech guy. I'm the financial nerd. He's the tech nerd. So you just have to watch it here. You just have to suffer through this YouTube connection. And I'm sure he'll, if there's having some trouble linking it, I'm sure he'll put it back up. Oh, The Big Short's great. There's a couple of movies that everybody should see. Everybody should see Margin Call. Everybody should put a like on the video right now. Everybody should see Margin Call, and everybody should see The Big Short. Those two movies are really important. Margin Call is more about Margin Call is a lot about what happened in 2008 from a different perspective. And they don't specifically say who is who, but it's a good one. Paul Bettany's in that one. Just it shows you like the mentality and the kind of the headspace that a lot of those guys were in. And oh God. Anyway, yeah. Hello. Good morning. Yes, getting text from. Yeah, God. Do not, man. I got an email. Oh, Jesus. That's the worst. They are really scraping the bottom. It is playing. Okay, good. When you unsubscribe from email, you pop up. That's terrible. Anyway, yeah, hopefully those people will migrate over. Okay, real quick. As of today, we're still 396 of 1,000 on digital investors. You're like, what's the 1,000? That's it. That's the limit. That's all we're doing. And then private clients, 51 out of 100. We will be recording later today or tonight. That's probably tonight. We'll be recording This Week in Hypercycle with Tufi Saliba, CEO of Hypercycle. And that'll be fun and cool. And probably going to have I have an idea what we're going to talk about, but I don't know exactly what he's going to say until he says it. So I'm not going to say what he's going to say when I don't know what he's going to say till he says it. But I think a lot of people are going to be quite excited. I'll just say that. And I think that a lot of people are going to then realize that no one is getting left behind. There are no secret groups. There's no preferential treatment. The word of the day is inclusivity. Everybody gets to participate. All right. Good. Okay. Good morning. Yes. All right. Yeah. Good morning. Yeah. Let's see. Our plane flew back last night. I don't know if I told you guys that we got a little plane for Drive LA, and our Eric, my partner, he flew it back from the East Coast in like over a couple of days. They had to make several stops or whatever because it's not like a Lear jet. Anyway, it's just a plane. Anyway, that's cool. It's like, you want to ride in it? No. But I think it's cool that we have one. All right. Yeah, the Tufi conversation is going to be great. Okay. If there's any market related questions, we can take a quick look at markets. I'm not going to make any recommendations or anything because that's not what we do here. That's not what office hours is. That is if you have general questions, mechanical, technical, whatever, that's fine. But I'm not going to do any kind of portfolio stuff because that's what we do in the digital investors and digital private clients, and not on the interwebs. Oh, interestingly, Gemini which is Google's new model, which I don't know if they're gonna throttle it back or what they're gonna do when they release it. But one of the things that makes it so cool is that it has all of the YouTube video content, all of the text inside all that content usable for training. So think about the value of tons and tons and tons of video content of humans talking back and forth, and how that might make the communication back and forth between you and Gemini much more organic. I think that's quite valuable. And then there's a new model that I think it released yesterday. It's called Next GPT, and Next GPT is pretty badass because it's the multimodal model, meaning anything to anything model. And I know a lot of these things are like, oh, it's text to speech or text to video. This is anything to anything multimodal. It's called Next GPT. I'll try to get some more info on that. I'm sure that'll be in the news thing for tomorrow. We'll see. For tomorrow's show with Brandon. We'll see. Anyway, let's go over to the let me just kind of swap us over into markets really quickly. We'll spend a few minutes on that, and then we'll get into the guts of the commercial real estate meltdown that's coming, which is going to be effing nasty. But first, let's look just a quick bleep at markets, and then we'll talk about this. Okay, do you think the FTX token dump mixed? Well, you don't want to say it like that because technically there was an FTX token, FTT. There was an actual FTX token. So you probably mean with FTX selling tokens mixed with the Fed's not raising rates. Well, at least not. They'll do whatever they're going to do. It is really unlikely, like very, very, very unlikely that the Fed can raise rates. They raise rates tomorrow that would broadcast that they've bought into just the most recent CPI and that they're ignoring everything else. And I don't think even they are that stupid. So I wouldn't, it's maybe a 10% chance of that. Would it be a bloody October? Well, statistically, September's been the worst month. So I think we get through September, skies look clear. I think we could have actually a pretty decent October, and then running in, I think things just start to look better after September. There's a lot of reasons for that have to do nothing with crypto or anything like that. It's just September is a notoriously nasty month for a lot of reasons, most of them macro in nature. So I would think that October, November, December, and especially going into the spring, think of all the things that we have going for us in the spring that look quite tasty. Or even Q1 or Q2 of 2024. You'll have probably by the end of Q1 or Q2, the hypercycle ecosystem will go live with compute, meaning everybody gets to be in there involved, making money. That's the whole world blows up. You would have Twin Protocol launching their token generation event. I think they're going to launch. We don't know yet. I had a meeting with them yesterday. I don't know. I don't even think they know yet exactly. They're on the other side. I guess I can say this. They may be making money. Like I tried to give them money yesterday and they're like, nope, we don't need it. I was like, God, dang it. But I want you to need it. And they're like, well, we don't need it. So yeah, that's good. So Twin Protocol. And by the way, anybody that wants to kind of see what's going on there, you can go over to True AGI. I think that's it. Yeah. You can go here to Twin Protocol and you can just join their waitlist, which is twinprotocol.com. You can get on the waitlist and then you can start playing with it when they're ready. But they think they're going to be making money here anyway. So that TGE will happen probably Q1. You've got the Bitcoin halving. That could be good. It could at least helps the BlackRocks and the Fidelities and the Vanguards and the Wisdom trees and all that. It helps them sell the story to their octogenarian customer base, and that's it. Those are just it's just sales. It's all sales. So that'd be cool. So you have a lot of things in the beginning of the year that people will be looking forward to. And of course, markets are a forward pricing mechanism, right? You see what's in the future and you price it in as much as you can right now, at least if this information hypothesis makes any sense and there's no like walled off, areas of information that the rest of us, you don't want like that asymmetric information situation where some people get all the information and everyone else doesn't. So at least in the crypto space, it seems to be more open than in other markets. So there you go. Is the Fed printing more money? Let me ask the group. Does the Fed print money? Howard, you ought to know this. That question is plagued from the question. Anyone here? Anyone want to answer? Does the Fed print money? Let's see what you guys come up with. I'll do you even one better. Has the Fed... No. Has the Fed ever printed money? Let's dig deep. We digging. Let's dig. No. See, this is good. This is good. Well, they don't steal money. Hasn't stopped. No, Brian, they don't print money. The Fed doesn't print money. Yeah, good. Randy nailed it. So for those of you, I mean, that they would sure love for you to believe that they print money because that's part of their, and this is, look, you don't have to take my word for it. You don't have to take any of our words for it. The Fed prints propaganda. The Fed prints theater. They print the idea or the notion. But what they actually do is issue bank reserves to banks. The idea, and the bank reserve is not an instrument that can be traded. I mean, I guess banks could swap bank reserves or something like that weird, but that's not really occurring. The idea is that this placeholder, think of it as like a coupon, right? So the Fed gives these coupons. Touch my watch and it did some weird shit. The Fed gives these coupons, these placeholder coupons to the banks, and then tells the banks, now look at all that money you have, go out and lend. And the banks are like, but you swapped forcibly. They don't really have a choice. They have to participate if they want to be broker dealers. So when the Fed swaps you, your treasuries, you're a bank, you have treasuries. You have bills, notes, bonds, whatever, mostly short-term on the run treasuries, thinking like the short duration periods, like days to months, not years. Like furthest out you would go is like the 2 year. So like the Fed forcibly swaps your very liquid assets for no assets. Brandon in the house. Oh wait, it's not showing. Hold on. What up, buddy? Okay. So the Fed forcibly swaps these assets. You now have, instead of highly liquid, tradable, pledgeable, lendable securities as a bank, you now have a fucking coupon. And guess what? You can't buy burgers with bank reserves. That bank reserve doesn't have a real monetary value. It's an inert asset. It's just a placeholder. It's like those fake books on your bookshelf that have pages, but there's no actual print, and it's just to keep the bookshelf looking good. But you can't read those. There's nothing in them. It's the same thing. The Treasury does, however. So obviously stimulus that comes from the Treasury, if you get a check in your bank account from the Treasury, that's printing. Absolutely. When the Treasury takes future prosperity, turns it into debt and sells it to wholesalers and broker dealers, and to some extent the public, by selling treasuries, bills, notes, bonds, all along the spectrum of maturities, that is absolutely printing currency units, because it's turning a a question mark in the future. It's turning future prosperity into a debt right now and selling that debt into cash. So when banks participate in that, and basically what you do, you can reduce all of this to make it simple. Banks print, right? They print by lending, by free flowing cash and credit availability. Banks, like regular banks, are the real central banks. Does that make sense? So that's kind of how that works. And obviously there's a certain amount of, printing that occurs through fiscal policy, which is taxation and spending, building bridges and government projects and things like that. And yes, on that, you nailed it. It's always and everywhere the monetary phenomenon. It cannot exist without the monetary component. And the Fed never prints money. Bam, Howard. I couldn't have said it better yourself. Brandon, what's going on, buddy?
I just wanted to hop on here. I know Nick was asking about this, and I know this is public facing, but this is cool to show. It looks like, maybe we better not show it because there's going to be information in here that not a lot of people want to see. But if you're digital investors, you go under here, under the download section, there's a portfolio section now. You can actually go to that portfolio and check out all the symbols. So I'll just show the top one, I guess, because we know we like hypercycle anyway. But anyway, you can sort this thing by portfolio percentage, token symbol, the network that it's on, where to buy it, where to hold it, where to stake it. And all these little words are going to be clickable here soon. And the little anecdotes that we talk about behind the wall over a digital investor, all that stuff's going to be on there as well. So we're going to be able to click that. It's going to go to a page. It's going to explain hypercycle and everything. So this is just a pretty cool little thing that I wanted to show today. But it has all the portfolio, not just hypercycle. It has all the symbols and stuff on here. And there's a few that are still missing, but we'll get those added. So just wanted to mention that.
What? We need that little horn that goes wah, 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 wah.
It's a pretty cool little thing. I mean, It's going to be always updated. It's going to have just that reservoir of information of like where to buy, where to hold, where to stake. I get questions about that stuff every single day. Oh, where do I buy it? We talked about this on the show today. Where do we buy it? Where are you staking it? What's going on? So we're going to have that in there, and then it's all going to be clickable. You can trust the links. You don't trust the links, whatever. The links are going to be there for your guidance, but always still type them in yourself. Always. Like, I don't care. Like, I'll have the links in there as a guide, and then you kind of know what to look like, but you can go retype it into Google and research it yourself. Does that make sense? That's what I always do still. Like, even still.
So much sense.
Yeah. Anyway, so pretty cool thing to have in there. The portfolio, man. It's going to be awesome. I'm telling you, we're building out this dashboard so you guys have unlimited tools to use always. And you guys can, whatever, you guys, I screenshotted it. I'm good for life. This thing's going to be ever changing or whatever. So don't worry about that. And I know you guys know the value of it. So forget it. We've heard about it.
Brandon, is there going to be maybe we weren't sure, maybe a walkthrough of some of the new stuff that we're building tomorrow on the Behind the Wall in the Digital Investor Show?
Oh my heck, I have that ready. Yes. I could do it now, but let's wait till tomorrow.
Let's wait till tomorrow. Also, if you can get me some of that stuff, or maybe we do that with Tufi before we record tonight.
Okay.
Maybe we show him.
Yeah. It's going to be super cool. It shows the over-the-counter. We're going to show the over-the-counter, the buy, the sell transactions, what that looks like, the whole process of that. So we're doing that right now on the test net, and everything's like almost complete. We have we had to write like a whole smart contract to be able to do this, and it's the first one of its kind. So we're sending that off to audit tonight, which is actually really cool. So we're getting that thing audited, what the audit means. And if a lot of you guys don't know this, but when you get a smart contract audited, it's basically a third party takes a look at your contract, make sure it's legit, make sure it can't get hacked, make sure somebody can't come fish your tokens out of there, because what you're doing is you're interacting with that contract. So you want to know it's safe. So we're going to get an audit score. We're going to get all that stuff done on the contract. And then, we're going to do a walkthrough of this thing of how to go list your hypercycle tokens. But Nick talked about this yesterday. This is essential, and not just hypercycle, but any of the SDAO net assets for now. But you can go list your hypercycle tokens at a set price, and you're going to get that set price. So it's like a limit order, man. This is awesome. This is so
It's
cool.
like think of OTC like limit order only exchange. The beauty of it is that when you do that, many of you may not want to go and try to find an exchange, or you may live in a region where the exchange is weird anyway, you may just want to go, look, I'd be willing to buy this at this price or sell this at this price, and off you go.
I'm so excited. Like, just the functionality of it alone is so cool. We have some of the top devs in the world working
Oh, we
on
have
this
we
thing.
have the nerds.
Yeah, they're
You
so
think
cool,
we're
though.
nerds? Oh no,
Oh
no,
my
no, no, no.
gosh, they're behind the scenes people, and obviously I'm not even smart enough to code this stuff at all. So we stepped it up, man, and it's getting done. It is getting done. It's
Let's
so
see.
cool.
Do we have any other housekeeping that we need to know before I go on and talk about how commercial
you
real
bounce.
estate's about to completely effing implode?
Dude, I've watched so many videos on. No, I'm gonna bounce out. I just want to show that anyway. I'll let you do your thing.
Oh
Get
yeah.
that done. Peace
Well,
out.
cool. Deuces, we're gonna go talk about commercial real estate, man. It's gonna get ugly. Good thing is I've condensed this into about a 5 or 6 minute discussion so that it's like one of those. Have you seen the premiere, Brandon, for The Exorcist, the new one?
Yeah,
the-
dude, it scared
have
the
you seen the
crap out of
preview?
me. Dude, I
Looks
will
awesome.
not watch that stuff. I will not watch that. It scares me. It scares me.
The
I'm
devil
running
played a
away.
trick on you.
Yeah.
My God, that's coming from like an 8-year-old.
I know, dude. That's
Anyway,
Walking
this
into
is
that
like that.
church.
Only the good news is it's going to fold up a bunch of regional banks and demolish a bunch of markets. So that's good news.
scary. It's good.
We can't
Great.
just get an exorcist to fix it.
Good luck with that. I'm gonna go work on some coding.
Okay, enjoy your coding.
Yep. Bye.
All right. So let's get to the we're going to get to the guts here in a second.
Hello. You're late.
You're bad at math, but I'm giving you an A+ in confidence.
Just doing what I gotta do.
Extra credit.
Bam. Okay, let's talk about what this is on the way. Why does it say that? Give me a second to take that little unicorn off of there. Not that I'm against unicorns, but I mean in general, the unicorn don't need to be here. Let's go plus it 1. Ooh, yeah, perfect. Boop. Okay, go away. All right. So as I'm going to kind of talk to you guys about something that's been looming in the back of my mind for a minute, and that is I'm making an assumption. So let me tell you, when I have these discussions, I'll go off of a few assumptions, and as you guys know, that I'll use the available kind of information, whoever kind of like the thought leaders are. I'll bounce around and listen to a couple different people, and then I'll go to GPT-4 and I'll go to Claude, and I'll start banging back and forth between historical precedent and just, like game theory and where we are. So if our loose assumptions, because there's not a lot of concreteness in this, but it does get more concrete. But our relatively loose assumptions are that the commercial real estate market is going to get punished by a variety of financial factors, including that a lot of the borrowers will be walking away from their commercial projects. I'm saying this is a weak assumption. It is not a weak assumption. I don't really think, like math-wise, I think it's like 80% likely, which is still weak when you're talking math. But for our purposes, I think it's a very high likelihood set of assumptions. So I was trying to think, well, okay, what is the primary and secondary fallout? For those of you that have listened to Henry Hazlitt, Economics in One Lesson, which I super recommend. Yeah, it's old and kind of crummy and whatever. It's like a 1960s voice or whatever. It's like an old broadcast. But if you look it up, it's like a 7-hour YouTube thing. It's Henry Hazlitt, Economics in One Lesson. And like one of the main points about Economics in One Lesson, if you listen through it or read it, is that you have to look for the knock-on, the secondary, the tertiary effects of something, not just what you see right in front of you. But like if you imagine a pool table and you do the break and the white ball, the cue hits the first ball in that triangle of ball, they all start going in different directions, and there's all sorts of weird interactions. And no matter how many times you do it, the interactions are slightly different. Slight variations can create all sorts. So the predictability gets less and less and less. But the better you get at predicting the secondary and tertiary effects, the further you get ahead of the investment community, and the further you get ahead, the easier it is to make money letting them catch up. right? The whole beauty pageant thing. So this is something that I want people to always think about. But so in the background, there we go. Those are the general assumptions. What kind of fallout, what we might expect? So in the commercial real estate market, which you see CRE is the way these most of these news agencies will put it, the CRE market. So commercial real estate might experience significant downturn due to financial factors, borrowers walking away from their projects, I think is the main one, because they'll get to a point where they just go, I'm here. They'll just hand the keys to the bank and say, it's on you, bro. Good luck. Good luck with that. I think there'll be quite a lot of ripple effects across varied in various markets and sectors. So some potential fallouts, obviously, as you can see, financial institutions, construction and development, local government, retail and services, residential real estate, in the investment market in general, service providers, insurance industry. Now, another one of my assumptions was kind of a background assumption that a lot of this is because we've gone through a kind of a weird shift. Well, not a weird shift, an obvious shift, this kind of work at home type shift where people are at home behind their computers and they're not at an office anymore. So let me go through this list so that you can kind of think about these things rather than just, I know a lot of people are like, oh, commercial real estate, it's just commercial real estate entities and they just get nuked and then that's the end of it and everything will be fine. No, not so much, because again, the secondary and tertiary effects. So as far as financial institutions go, you have banks and other lenders that have like really substantial exposure to the commercial real estate market, and they could experience, they will experience like already higher loan default rates, right? And so this leads to decreased profitability, obviously, if a lot of your loans are not coming home. In severe cases, there could be potential solvency issues. So let that resonate for a second, because what are the banks that are already on the edge of solvency? Regional and provincial banks. We've already seen this just this year. Many banks, have already collapsed upwards, forcibly been melted up. Go down to, Silicon Valley, and which, by the way, interestingly, SVB might be acquired by Skybridge Capital, which is Anthony Scaramucci's company. So that'd be kind of interesting. We'll see if that plays out. I hit him up yesterday. He said they're fighting for it. So we'll see. But anyway, when these regional banks are already getting punished, this higher than normal interest rate environment is forcing them to rejigger some things in order to be able to kind of make good on a lot of their maturity mismatch debt and things like that. So long story short, banks and other lenders with exposure to commercial real estate could get punished. And if they're already on the edge of insolvency, this could push a lot of those banks. And what would it take to see a banking, like a systemic banking failure, like a huge problem? Not much, because if you're already on the edge of bankruptcy, it's just one little push, right? If you're already on the edge of insolvency, it's one little push. So who's going to come in and take them over? FDIC? There's no money left in now, obviously they would fund the FDIC with a bunch of emergency measures, but you could see how quickly this could get out of hand. Anyway, REITs, real estate investment trusts that are focused on commercial properties. Most REITs are focused on commercial properties. So they're already seeing reduced returns. They could get waylaid. That would impact investors. It would certainly impact new investment into REITs, right? Okay, let's talk construction and development. Reduced demand for new commercial projects, which they're already seeing, means fewer construction jobs, affecting, employment in the building space of like actual construction workers. And think about all of the tools and equipment and consumables that lead to building these commercial products, all the steel, just think of everything that goes into building a commercial real estate project. If you have less of those projects and you have less of those people, then the suppliers of the construction materials are going to see decreased demand, and that's going to lead to layoffs and, business contraction. So that whole construction and development ecosystem, getting beat up, getting crumbled. Local governments. Guess who makes most of the money on these commercial projects after the construction and after the owners? It's the local governments through property taxes. So if you have a significant source of income for local governments and that goes away, right, or at least declines by some high margin, this can lead to local government budget shortfalls. The same people that pay for public services like police and firefighters and your water supply. Think about it. So if the local governments get punished because that property tax revenue goes to dust, if people are turning in keys, who's paying? So then this leads to budget shortfalls, reduced public services, increased tax burdens somewhere else. They gotta switch some lever, right? So then you go, okay, what next? Well, if people are getting paid less and the government's getting paid less and they're jacking taxes somewhere else and it's not in commercial, that means the retail and the services industry is going to it's likely to get beat up a little bit. So if commercial real estate, if that decline is linked to office spaces, this could accelerate the work from home trend, right? Which accelerates the commercial real estate unwind, which accelerates the work from home. You see how they feed on each other. That's kind of like downward spiral, looks a lot like a toilet. It affects businesses that rely on office workers, local cafes, dry cleaners, public transport, go down the list. If retail spaces are affected, shopping malls, things like that, sales areas, where there's a lot of stores and storefronts, then local economies could suffer from business closures and reduced consumer activity and more reduced taxes and fees and things like that. You say, okay, damn. So now we have financial institutions getting beat up, construction and development, and all those people that the suppliers and the participants in that, local government losing tax revenue, retail and services getting nuked, and then residential real estate. Why? Well, because a decline in the commercial sector is very likely to spill directly over into the residential real estate market, especially if it leads to job losses and economic slowdown. Already in LA, things look a lot different after 7 months of these strikes and all this. So you lay on top of the entertainment industry strikes, you're some producer, you might be living high off the hog. You're like, yeah, I make 40 grand a month. Yeah, until you don't work for 9 months, then you don't make nothing. And you still have, probably people in LA, people always live beyond their means. So they have a bunch more debt service. They've exposed their life to needing that 40 grand a month or that 20 grand a month or whatever they make. And when they don't have it, they don't have a cushion. So that's unwind. That's just showing you a tiny little group. Well, a decline in commercial real estate will spill over into the residential real estate market because you have job losses and you have economic slowdowns. You now have people that can't afford the house they just got. They can't afford to buy the house they were looking at. And now that's going to affect residential real estate builders and sellers, realtors, agents. You might see now some areas, for instance, rental. I think rental might go up. I think there's going to be pockets where people might get busted out of their houses, but move into apartments and condos, things like that. So you could see some small areas of boom inside that. It's not like the whole world is doom and gloom, but 96% of it, right? In the investment market, if you reduce confidence in the commercial real estate market and you start seeing banks unwind, that's going to push a lot of investors to the sidelines or just to panic. And there's likely that could push people out just completely away from any kind of real estate investment, as far as through like alternative assets, things like that. And that could actually boost some other asset classes. Like you could see a lot of people that just say, I'm out of anything that touches real estate, but maybe I want some tech exposure. AI will save us. Go that way. So again, a lot of times that money will just get channeled into different areas. So investment market losses typically get transferred to other areas inside the investment space, or even to like government debt, things like that, where they might hide out in the bond market. Investment funds with heavy exposure to commercial real estate, obviously they're going to see decreased performance. That's just part of like that. That's kind of the offboarding from those real estate products and assets and index funds, things like that. And then service providers. So think about law firms, brokerage firms, property management companies that have a heavy focus on commercial real estate. They are going to likely experience a lot of reduced or just experience kind of overall reduced demand. That's going to lead, they'll do some labor hoarding at first, but at a certain point they have to, first they'll cut hours, then they'll cut jobs, right? And so that's going to lead to layoffs, reduced profits, which creates reduced spending. And then finally, the insurance industry. And there are more, but I feel like this is the main ones. The insurance industry, if you have a downturn, it could result in lower premiums for property and casualty insurance in the CRE sector. It might also lead to increased claims, particularly if there's a bunch of disputes around like contract breaches, failures to perform and fulfill lease agreements, stuff like that. It would seem like amusement and entertainment would get absolutely beat up. I mean, just get punished. Now, alcohol sales probably still fine. Cannabis probably still fine. Certain things, people will buy certain things. And like, I don't think alcohol has any problem. Alcohol seems to perform. But I wouldn't be going long Disney. When you have those high ticket item kind of entertainment and amusement, I would think those would get punished pretty hard. I mean, Disney World, Disneyland, they're already getting punished pretty hardcore right now, and we haven't even crossed this Rubicon. So, I'm sure you guys all know that insurance it only works if a lot of people pay into it, right? It's not what they call a mutual exchange of service or an equal exchange of service industry. The way it works is a lot of us have insurance because only a few of us need it. Because if a lot of us need it and a lot of us aren't paying into it, then those insurance companies go bust. They have to have, for every X amount of people that need help, they need 45X that don't need help, but that continue to pay. And you socialize the costs down to something amenable for all of us. So anyway, the insurance industry could get punished right there. And again, that's more layoffs, more reduced profit, less spending in the local economies. So I think it's important just to sum all this up. There are real life consequences to a scenario like this. And I think, obviously the duration and the depth of this would matter. What the government response might be, whether that's fiscal, monetary, regulatory. I'm sure it's going to be a combination of all of these. And so how, these businesses and us, like as consumers/investors, how we adapt to this is going to determine what is the time duration of this chaos. But this chaos is coming. So yeah, there is that. Keep it in the back of your mind, or keep it in the front of your mind. So these are some things that we have to get past. What does this have to do with AI? Not much. What does it have to do with investing in crypto? Well, as far as new investors, I don't know how much this will really affect, other than to potentially prolong a big up market, which for us is a good thing. because it gives us more time to walk our way into high quality assets. So anyway, keep those things in the back of your mind. You can't let yourself be so myopic in looking at the crypto space that you forget about macro and microeconomics, because they are in play and they matter. And sometimes we can get too tunnel visioned, too focused on the space that we're in, and we forget that the rest of the world is not crypto. Not yet, but we'll see. All right. So tomorrow, this week in Hypercycle, it's going to be really cool. It's going to be a lot of fun. For those of you that need, you're curious about where we're going to be parking these new products, like the OTC. That's going to all be at nodemarket.io, but you'll have access to all of that through Digital Investor, and anybody else will have access. The exchanges are not private. So the secondary marketplace for node licenses is not private. Anybody can participate. The OTC, where you'll be able to both post and take limit order trades for any of the Singularity Net assets, is public. Everybody can participate in that. So we'll make all these things available to everyone. Hopefully we'll have that walkthrough tomorrow, and then we'll hear what Tufi has to say. I should record that later this evening. If you have any other questions, nickblacknext.com. Stay in school, don't do drugs, don't do anything my poor insolvent drunk strung out on meth grandmother wouldn't do, which, as you know, is very little. We'll see you tomorrow.
If you're an accredited investor and you want in on angel, seed round or early round equity and token opportunities in the artificial intelligence and cryptocurrency space, schedule an interview at nickblacknext.com. In life, you can either be really good, really lucky, or just be first. Being first is so much easier. Schedule a digital private client interview today at nickblacknext.com.